and welcome to Good Boys Gone Bland, episode 4 of season 3, The Doghouse. I'm one of your co-hosts, Denali.
I'm Ryan.
I'm melting.
Oh no!
And Jace.
We're recording this during the Great Western Heat Wave. Jace and I in Seattle are burning alive right now, as none of us have AC. Ryan, how is it over there in New York? You guys?
It's actually, I'm not joking. It's the hottest day of the year here as well. Just nobody gives a shit about us.
Yeah, of course.
It's just not record breaking.
Well, you New York elites have what's called air conditioning. Us over
This is
here,
definitely true. It's like 73 degrees in my house.
that sounds fantastic. We're clocking in around 110 supposedly this weekend. For max. It's quite
Balmy.
quite hot.
Do you think if I drive my car into my house and turn on the AC in it, I can cool everything down?
Yeah.
I've thought about this.
Dude, just keep the exhaust. You know,
outside, roll the windows down.
Okay, yeah.
Now this is sounding like not a bad idea. Because you could just,
It's a
you could put a
terrible
brick
idea.
on the gas and just say it was like an accident. You should get the insurance claim, make money, cool off your house,
Ooh.
get a new car. Only seeing upsides here. Ryan, you're our resident lawyer. Does that sound okay? Sound kosher to you?
that sounds totally waterproof.
Totally waterproof. Excellent. Okay, great. I usually do this part, but how about this time? Jace, do you want to tell the audience what our show is about? What do we do on the show?
Sure.
God, don't get his opinion. He doesn't know what we do here.
I'm
It's just every week we tell him to come talk about these dog movies.
Oh God. Guys, they picked me up off the street. They promised me fortune and fame in return for talking about stuff and things, and a lot of it, like 10 times of it. So welcome
10 times in a row. That was
welcome
This is
to
how humans talk.
Welcome to Good Boys Gone Bland. We are a podcast that focuses on a topic, a movie topic, be it actor or theme. So far, we've watched 10 of each theme, and we dissect them, we throw them on a movie meter, and we give a rating to the topic. Right now, we are, as Denali said, in the Doghouse, a woof woof.
Yeah, I think most importantly, the thing to understand is that we're stuck in a metaphorical house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Been a while since we've explained that concept. Yeah.
I don't think we've explained it this entire season, but we're stuck in this house, and each room is some weird type of prank / contraption where the only way we can get out of the room is by watching 10 movies in quick succession.
Mm-hmm.
We stumbled up to the attic. We were stuck in Ben Affleck's attic for 10 weeks. And then we finally made our way down on the way out to the mud room with our boy Matthew McConaughey. And now we're smooching with the pooches.
Yeah, and there's a fence, a really tall fence around the doghouse that got locked. And it's just like an inch too high for us to get over without hurting ourselves.
Yeah, it's 1 inch above my vert, like how I can jump.
Ooh,
that's kind of a situation.
Or mind you, there could be a mean dog guarding the gate, and we're looking through these movies for a piece of jerky.
Oh yeah,
that's a good idea.
To calm the dog down.
Let's expand this narrative then, because we went to the doghouse looking for like a jerky or a T-bone steak that's stuck in one of these DVD cases.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying to get the right one.
And we don't know whether it's in the
one.
case unless we watch the entire movie.
Yeah.
It's always the last movie you watch is where you find the key or the steak. But,
okay. That couldn't be simpler.
Yeah. No. Do we have to stop by at the kitchen at some point? I feel like it's been a while since we had any food.
Oh, so you're suggesting like a K?
I ate Clifford.
Like Clifford.
I ate him. He's...
ate Clifford.
Don't go behind the talk. Well, you can see him because he's bigger than the doghouse.
Could there be like a we already riffed on Clifford, but could there be like a like a gritty Clifford reboot where like the military comes in and tries to take him down, Godzilla style?
Wow.
Shooting tank rounds. And then like They have to get the girl who talks to it. You know, she's like
What
the.
if?
You know.
Oh my gosh!
Okay.
So you know how Clifford is big because the girl loved him very much.
Yeah.
And there's a whole
Okay, we
episode.
did this.
If you guys
we
like this
did.
convo, watch Clifford episode. But what if the U.S. government gets a hold of her and a hold of a baby Godzilla? Think about how big Godzilla is normally. What about a Clifford-ized Godzilla?
Well, is that just going to be like a pet store lizard? Because are you going off the logic that it's easier for the government to make a literal Godzilla, but just small, and have the girl grow it?
No, but Godzillas are small when they're born.
Yeah, he wants to double boost a Godzilla to Godzilla or Godzilla-zilla.
Okay, so she's like the monster maximizer.
Right. Holy moly.
Godzilla
World
backwards
domination.
is a Liz dog. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
I don't know what to do with that information.
The government's
but I'm glad I
coming
know
for me.
I felt like the King Kong in the new King Kong versus Godzilla movie really got bigger because I felt like in Peter Jackson's King Kong, it was like maybe 20 feet tall. And then in the new one, it's huge, right? Like as tall as like the Empire State Building. So that's a situation where they could use that. You can use a girl like that to increase the size of, Big Monkey to fight Giant Lizard.
Big Monkey versus Giant Lizard.
Yeah, that's like the
Like,
Kroger
even with a name like
brand.
that movie would have sold. Like, that's a good name.
4 episodes in, watching nothing but dog movies. I like how we explained everything from the Clifford episode as if like someone would watch the All Dogs Go to Heaven episode, be like, oh, I'm not going to watch the Clifford episode. All right. This other animated dog movie, hell yeah. As if it
could be the case.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the case. This was a movie that came out when we were growing up. We don't have to talk about the movie quite yet, but it was relieving to see an animated dog movie where I can just kind of exist outside of like real dogs just for a moment.
What?
Like, like these dogs were like, they were talking, they were smoking cigars, drinking beers, and doing mobster shit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, like, isn't that right, Poochie? And it, like the dog kind of like winks in this terrible CG and it kind of does a backflip or some shit. Like, it's like those live action dog movies all have the same feel and they're pretty much all the same fucking movie, man. This was just a nice departure.
Yeah. If they had gone like a little bit to the left, they could have just called this movie The Dog Father,
Ooh.
Yeah, we have something.
Mm-hmm.
Because we watched our first mobster movie of, I think, Good Boys Gone Bland, I think. And like...
With this movie?
Right, yeah. Isn't this the first mobster movie we've seen?
Well, there's The Gentleman.
I don't think that counts. Okay, yeah, you're right. The Gentleman it was a mob movie we watched. I feel like there's a whole genre of dog-based, movies that we could have where it's just stars animated dogs.
Yeah, this was very much a people movie, but it had a dog shtick.
You could have reshot this with humans, yeah.
Yes, and
easily.
I don't know if it would have been better, but
it would have been it would have been fucking depressing.
Pretty fucked up and depressing. It was already pretty dark.
Sometimes during this movie, I was like, "Wow, good thing these are dogs," because like I would not be smiling if this was happening to a human being.
You could have like like a Law and Order procedural style drama where like a dog gets murdered and like another dog tries to solve the mystery and he's like, God, this city's going to shit. And the dog goes to like a dog strip club and then he's get like a call from his dog wife and he's like, honey, come home. And he's like, God, marriage is falling apart. And he's like stumbling on the streets.
Oh,
we got a script, baby.
Listening to Doggo Smith in his car, driving drunk.
Let's throw that in the GBGB script meat grinder and churn something out and make some money.
Okay.
So dog-based movies. What's some other genres? Dog Power Rangers. They already had a dog once, but all of them are dogs this time. That's the trick.
Oh, we're doing straight dog genres.
Dog reboots. Like Zordon. He thought teenagers were too obvious. They're like, oh, they're looking for people now. Fucking 10 dogs. Give them Power Ranger bracelets. Become dog rangers. Anything?
Space movies.
Okay, so dogs in space. Would kind of go off of
Airbud
like
does everything, man.
Dude, Jesus Christ. Guy's got nothing but hitters.
What is our medium? Are we going Air Bud or are we animating? Or are we doing a combination like Space Jam?
I'm thinking, well, like Denali said, after a while, I think actual dog actors gets a little stale.
Yeah, agreed.
And this is my ultimate theory that dog movies have a cap on quality. And I think maybe animation can get around the cap.
I think you're right. I think Pixar, I don't know if they've made any dog movies, but I feel like they could make with animation, you can make a real good tearjerker and really expand the medium. You're not limited by the actors.
Let's make a word for word, scene for scene reboot of Akira with dogs.
With dogs. That'd be pretty good. Like dogs doing telekinesis, and riding motorcycles. That's pretty cool.
Motorcycles.
Yeah. We could do a dog requiem for a dream.
Oh,
kind of
great.
like a anti-drug thing to keep dogs.
Ball Runner 2049.
That's pretty good. Ball Runner.
What about you do a live tour movie, but instead of actual humans performing the music, it's dogs.
Wait, so like a rock and roll band?
Yeah, you know how they do like all the tour movies, like Miley Cyrus.
Oh,
the
yeah,
tour,
yeah.
the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's just dogs, and then dog rock stars.
Okay, that's pretty good. I guess we have to start a dog band.
Because that's a little deep. Because imagine you have a world where dogs are people. That means that in that world there are dog bands, and the dog bands have made the very interesting and, in my opinion, poor decision of making dog band tour movies.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty good. They're like a Snoop human and in this world.
Yeah.
Snoop Man.
Yeah, MANN.
Can we change the dog heaven rules for our dog universe?
Yeah, the dog heaven rules here are fucked up.
Because I think Doggy Hitler would go to heaven.
That's what they imply, right?
They implied that.
They implied this one dog is going to hell.
He was like the first dog to go to hell, I think, because he
and he wasn't that bad.
I mean, like, I guess we can talk about this during our movie review too, because I want to really get into the morality of dogs, because they really explore that in this movie. I think we got some good ideas, with some dog pitches.
Who's coming to see these movies? Dogs?
Really depends.
Dogs, dog owners, people who are dog curious, like me. I don't own a dog, but like I'm kind of, I'm interested.
We animate furries.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Is that too much of a low-hanging fruit to have a guaranteed audience every time you release a movie by making it a furry movie?
If it was, I think more people would do it. There must be something about the furry movie. Like, okay, do they actually turn out for Zootopia? Or do they just, draw copyrighted content on the internet and give them, genitals?
I feel like Zootopia did really good, and I think at least $1 of that was from the furry community.
Minimum.
But to me, the furry community and the internet piracy community are starkly overlapped, at least from the furry side.
Yeah. Okay. So you think they pirated Zootopia?
I think so. I think if you stoop to the level of a furry.
Whoa. Okay. Hang on. Let's not yuck anyone's yums here.
We are not trying to go down that road.
We are a positive podcast that is very accepting of all walks of life, including people who are into
four-legged walks.
Four-legged walks, exactly.
Four-legged walks?
Walks?
What? Outside?
Do you guys want to start talking about the movie? Because I feel like there's some stuff.
I have nothing else to talk about. Like, I just want to talk about this movie.
Yeah.
I kind of do too. I have a lot of notes. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of topics here, I think. Jace,
Okay.
or Ryan, do you have the synopsis?
Oh, no. Oh, you want me to do one?
Don't you have the synopsis this week?
I have no idea. I don't keep track of anything.
It's Ryan.
Okay. All Dogs Go to Heaven is a 1989 animated movie from the director Don Bluth and I think co-director Gary Goldman. Now, together, they've made a lot of animated movies from that era. You might recognize their art style in Land Before Time, An American Tail, Secret of Nim, those types of movies.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
animal, animated, gritty, weird movies from the 80s is like their shtick. So This movie stars Burt Reynolds, believe it or not, I'm not joking, as the lead dog, the lead bad dog in this movie, Charlie B. Barkin. Now, Charlie,
That's a funny name. I didn't even realize. B. Barkin.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Charlie is currently incarcerated. However, his friend, Itchy, orchestrates a get out, and they spring themselves from, I think actually, Charlie was the only one incarcerated, but that's a plot point you don't need to dig into. And Charlie flees the law and goes back to his old place of business, which is a casino he ran with his friend Carface. These are great names, folks. And now Carface apparently was the person who framed Charlie to put him in prison in the first place. And so Carface is not too thrilled to have Charlie walking free. And so Carface orchestrates a hit on Charlie and they plunk him into the drink. Charlie dies and goes to heaven, where he is told that he's been a bad dog. But he's still allowed into heaven because all dogs go to heaven.
Oh, free pass.
Charlie, the rapscallion that he is, drops back down to earth and cheats God in a way, I guess. I don't know that God was so easily cheated. Good sign for us, y'all. And makes his way back down to earth and tries to get revenge on Carface. Along the way, he meets a small child who is looking for a family, and Charlie uses the child, unfortunately. And they do some weird stuff, guys. I'm not gonna lie, there was not a lot of cohesion scene to scene here. Eventually, they try to get Carface back and murder him, and that's the plot of the movie: is attempting to murder another dog.
Yeah, they ever explain why his name's? I mean, why is his name Carface? Like, it seems like a weird pun. You know, it's like, is it because he likes cars? Was that kind of the thing in the movie?
He did
He
love
pretends
cars.
to be driving, right? And his name's Carface. I feel like Dogface. I don't know. So maybe I'm just. This is why I don't make movies.
It's Scarface. With the
Yeah, I know,
S.
but they wanted to use Scarface, so they were like, oh, what rhymes with Scar? Flar? Schmar? And they're like, car. And then they're like, let's make him like cars. And that's just, that was it.
That's it. Are you seriously going to try to come up with a better joke when you got to name like 65 dogs to make this movie, man? At some point, you're going to be like, fuck it, Carface.
I guess, man. Yeah, I mean, I think that about sums it up, though, right? Like, this movie was kind of a bit of a mess, like tonally and just scene by scene. I was like, wasn't there like a whole thing about him being in heaven and coming back to life? Like, they seemed like it got so easily distracted. This was also a musical too. And I feel like
that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, there was stretches where I feel like they were like, oh fuck, this is a musical. Shit, throw a number in here, and it just really took it off the rails constantly. We like the opening scene where they're escaping from prison. So like, this is a challenging concept because
Doggy death row.
He's in death row,
guarded by a multitude of humans with guns.
This is a human universe, guys. So he's in jail on death row, and then when he escapes, humans are firing rifles at him. Like, they're dodging bullets. Like, why? Even if we're operating on the assumption this is a pound, like, if that dog escaped, I feel like they're not going to shoot him. Like, what the fuck?
Well, right. However, the entire idea of a doggy death row and a doggy prison system does give me a little hope that in this world there's a doggy due process, you know?
Oh, so you think he went to court? Like,
there's a doggy bill of rights in this world.
That's nobody can talk to animals but this little girl. So I think,
well,
no.
Okay.
I'm gonna go and say no.
I think the idea is that this girl can talk to other animals other than dogs.
She can talk to dogs too, though.
I think she can talk to the entirety of it. So I have a feeling that all animal species are subsumed within themselves to talking to the relative animals. And she is the one person on Earth that can communicate through the entire ecosystem.
Wow. Why not drop a 10-second explanation, word for word, what you just said into this movie and like solve this problem?
too complex for children, Ryan. That's the
They didn't give a shit about kids in this. This isn't a kids movie.
yeah. It was not,
It
dude.
didn't make any sense.
Wild that it got a G rating when first of all, like I'm used to our sanitized kids movie where you don't show like drinking or smoking. Not a huge deal, but then like they're running people over with cars, they're murdering
and drinking and
lives.
smoking.
Yes.
And also, there's
Being
an
drunk.
actual like visualization of the devil.
Yeah.
He goes to, in his mind, he's actually dreaming, but he goes to literal hell. Not like a representation of hell. He goes to actual hell, and it's riding a boat of skulls, being paddled by like the boat riverman, and across the sea of lava. And there's like a dragon devil, and he sicks these little mini demons on him, and like starts eating the dog. I'm not joking. That's in this G-rated
Dog
movie.
Satan looks sick as fuck, dude.
Yo, how cool was that hell
Heavy
sequence?
Yeah.
That hell sequence was really cool. I wrote that in my notes. I was like, yo, this is awesome. And this brings to the point where I was shocked by the animation quality of this movie. Like in the intro where they're kind of digging in the tunnel, like the lighting and everything, it was beautiful. Like I was expecting kind of a cheapy, straight to DVD style animation. But all the way through, I think visually it looked really good. All the scenes are super intricate, junkyards, and there's a bunch of shit in the background to look at. And the movements just were really fluid. I enjoyed that aspect despite like the crazy fucking time.
I think they had a lot of very intelligent writers in the room when they were storyboarding this movie and putting everything into that they needed to. If you watched it with subtitles, you would have noticed in the opening scene that they're like, Secretary Rat takes the lead.
Yeah. Secretary Rat is good during the rat race. To go back to Riot's point about there being like due process for dogs and things like that. I mean, do these humans recognize that dogs are sentient creatures? Because these dogs clearly have a culture and they all have a very high level of sentience and intelligence. Because like they have like mob rings, they're like writing shit down and like keeping records and like decorating and shit.
They have their own currency.
Yeah, fucking steaks, which it's not very, I guess liquid or what, not very a stable currency, but it's there. Just a lot. There's a lot they introduced here, and I feel like they built an interesting world, but then didn't expand on it. I felt like it would have been cooler if they dug deeper into the dog world.
Yeah, like if there was a couple throwaway lines where the dog is like, "Oh, the doggy president said this today. I hate that guy."
And there is a dog devil. They showed the devil who's a dog, and angel dogs. Is there a dog Jesus? Is there an equivalent for them?
Yeah, is there a dog IRS?
Dog IRS. And like we are assuming this is they're talking about the Christian heaven in this movie, right? Like there's a lot of Christian imagery, I think, in this movie. I feel like they're making a lot of assumptions here. They need to be explored. Maybe it was the cocaine.
Is literally heaven.
Yeah, but heaven could, it could be like a direct translation. I think there's other cultures that have like an afterlife and things that are good place.
Well, from the Judeo-Christian religions, it's all in the same place.
I suppose so.
All dogs go to Valhalla.
Well, that's only the dogs that die with a sword in their hands. I thought in the beginning it was a pretty interesting mob movie. I was trying to think about what the dog mob does as their income, because I think it's mostly gambling, right? From their perspective, it's like doing the rat races, rigging animal races, and shit like that. I don't think they're trafficking drugs a lot. Not really doing other stuff.
Well, they had drugs. We just didn't see the drug trafficking, right? Like this was set in 1937 or 1939.
Yeah,
which is crazy that they would set a dog movie in the past.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was like, wow, what a strange choice.
Already right there, like, okay, right. Like, so you're taking one logical leap to, okay, I get the dogs can talk, yada, yada, yada. There's a whole dog world. Like, oh, okay, dogs can talk, yada, yada, yada. There's a whole dog world. And it's also in the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to kind of imagine both those together. It's usually either one or the other.
And it's in like Louisiana, in like the bayou.
God.
There's so much, there's a lot going on.
Real specific. They really dialed it in for like what their setting is going to be.
It was in New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
The
believe so.
doggy prison was dog prison of New Orleans. If you on the roof.
Prison.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it said.
What do you think he did to get life? They didn't explain that.
Ooh, right. Dog murder.
Dog murder? I also thought the choice to, for Carface to kill him when he returns from dog prison was interesting. It's pretty intricate because they get him drunk and they put him at the end of this dock at the bottom of a hill and they just
hit him with a car.
Yeah, they put a car on top of a hill and they take the brakes off and the car just rolls down. And I was like, he's going to get out of the way last second. And I was wrong.
Fucking obliterated.
Yeah.
Fucking dies, dude.
You're like, they give no indication that he was actually hit by the car, and then he's teleporting through space-time into the nether.
Kubrick,
That was pretty cool. And then he meets the Whippet Dog Angel, who he tricks surprisingly easy. I don't know if they're operating on the assumption that dogs are usually so innocent that they just wouldn't try shit like that.
Okay.
And maybe it's rare,
Mind you.
Okay.
It's a bit obtuse.
Okay.
What's here, bud?
She said in heaven that they know everything that is going to happen.
Okay. So are you saying that the bad things the dogs did were so inconsequential they don't deserve to go to hell, even if they're mobsters?
I'm saying she knew he was going to steal the watch.
Oh, and this was part of the master plan.
I don't know.
So is she like
Dr.
Manhattan, where she's seeing all time streams?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's like an obscure comic character. She's like God. You guys. It's called Heaven. It's not all dogs are members of Watchmen. It's like
sorry,
the whole idea is that God is omnipresent and omniscient.
The original canon, literally, the Bible. I forget about the original plot. Okay.
So this is a spin-off of an original comic book?
Yeah, original comic book written 2,000 some odd years ago. Talk about the musical numbers real quick.
Did they tell Burt Reynolds he was going to have to sing?
That's what I was wondering. Not the best singer. Not the worst, though. He actually didn't do bad. I thought he had a pretty good Frank Sinatra kind of croon. He was channeling that a little bit. I think he put in some effort, at least. I think he was having fun with the role. But the music scenes I felt were just really awkward and out of place.
Mm-hmm.
I think the musical numbers were kind of forgettable a little bit.
I think, okay, I have two major qualms with the quality of this movie. Mm-hmm. The first of them is that there actually was not a very present score during this movie. Did you guys notice that? A lot of the dialogue scenes were quiet.
Yeah.
It was just two dogs talking to each other. And then the editing was weird. And there was too much space between each line. So Burt Reynolds would be like, ha, look at this crazy dog over here. Isn't that crazy? Like, okay, yeah, you can edit out a half a second of that silence. And the songs were the same way. The duet wasn't quite there.
That's interesting. You said that about the editing because I felt that way too. And the mix was weird too. The dialogue was kind of quiet. Seemed like he was talking really far from the mic. And then the sound effects were bang, right in front of your face. There was gunshots and explosions. And you can't really hear. I had
a ray gun.
A fucking ray gun. That comes up later.
Did I hallucinate?
Flash Gordon. Yeah.
I think I missed the ray gun. What?
Oh, there's a whole ray gun scene, and it just sort of begins and ends.
It's the killer dog. He's like, I have a gun. And then the mobster boss is like, oh, something about the gun? And he's like, yeah, it's a Flash Gordon ray gun. So I'm like, oh, it's a toy, a Flash Gordon ray gun. And he fires it. And it's it's capping people. It's shooting through watermelons and crates are exploding. And then Charlie gets hit with it. He's like, oh, but then he has the time watch, which makes him immune to death, I guess. But it was a real fucking ray gun in the 1939. And then it disappears. It just never
mentioned again. Not okay, yeah, but that scene literally, they're like, oh, let's go over here. And then just boom, the next second they were in a different part of the city and they're getting shot at with a ray gun.
Yeah, there was a lot
and then at the end, they were like, oh, I can't aim this thing. And they just, boom, next scene started.
Yeah. There's a lot of what I think you brought up ellipses cuts, Ryan. You introduced that term into my life.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of those, and then it just skips fucking whatever, man. Like, these people are here now. It doesn't matter.
Right. There's no transition. There's these ellipses cuts where ... something has elapsed, but there's no soft in or soft out. Like, it just happens.
Yeah. That's really how I felt with this. You guys remember that alligator scene? How insanely out of place that was?
Yeah. The weird savage sewer rats that were like they're some
That
kind of
racist
tribe.
shit? Yeah.
That shit. I can't talk to them. They talk funny. Like,
thank you, Jace.
what? You can talk to literally any other animal,
including rats, but not these like quote unquote tribal rats that they put into the movie. And then because this precipitates this is that Charlie's talking about how he's going to kill Carface, and the floor just drops out. They get captured by these rats. They're in cages, and this king alligator shows up.
Who can talk to the dog?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It breaks the whole interspecies voice thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie's a mess, man. And then the alligator eats the dog, but then Charlie lets out a yelp that's like such a brilliant falsetto that the alligator's like, I can't eat a singer. And he breaks off into a musical number about how they should make music together. And the scene kind of ends. What the fuck? It was so out of place. Like, I had to pause the movie and just think about, like, okay, how did I get to this point? Is there like a allusion to alligators earlier? Like anything?
No.
What I think might have happened was at the end of the movie, spoilers, Carface gets eaten by the alligator, right? This Carface captures Charlie and the kid, and then Charlie like screams. The alligator hears the beautiful sound. Alligator shows up, destroys the entire place, and eats Carface, Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the producers were like, well, fuck, hang on, guys. We need to, like, explain a reason why this alligator is showing up. It's like, I know we didn't have a reason to end this movie. I know we wanted an alligator at the end, so let's put in this musical number, like, halfway through the movie about where an alligator likes his singing for some reason.
It's on topic. They set the stage for being in Louisiana, which is gator country, but bit of a stretch.
Okay, let's pull back the curtain a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the problems on this movie is that it was a studio factory movie. They were making animated movies, and they said, oh, the boss, the company, wants us to make another animated movie. We need to come up with a premise for another movie. They said, oh, let's make one about dogs. And so they try to make a dog movie, and they write a plot, and then that's how this movie comes about. It's not like someone had a passion project or someone had a script that they were working on for 10 years and they were shopping it around from studio to studio. It's these literally Don Bluth, the director, and the writers were like, we've got to come up with a plot for an animated dog movie. And this is what they came up with. So that's the reason why scenes just kind of happen. Is because it's not some art that some guy was like, I'm going to put my whole life into this and I'm going to make this script and my job is I sell my scripts to Hollywood. It's just these guys were getting fucking drunk in a hotel room for 2 weeks. That's what they came up with.
It worries me that I think you're right, Ryan.
This one had a little bit more to it than that. As I understand it, it was written as a story and slept on for a while.
Right.
Before being
and they're like, we
redeveloped into this fashion. Because it was originally going to be a dog detective movie.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have like kind of a due process legal system, more of a procedural where there is a detective who's trying to find.
What we have learned is that every single dog movie must have some sort of legal system juxtaposed into it for no reason.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake, you're right, dude.
Here is just a dog jail.
They fulfilled the quota.
In Air Bud, it's family court.
Yeah.
In Clifford, it's contract law. In Snow Dogs, it's will and probate. And in this movie, it's criminal justice.
What do we have left? Tax law?
We'll have to wait to find out.
That really works. Wow.
So Off topic, Ryan, you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier the online communities stealing artwork. The girl character in this movie is very clearly a Snow White ripoff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it's you look at it and you like look at the scenes, like when she's like praying, when she's walking around. It's like, what? How'd they get away with that?
Looked very similar to Snow White.
Because he was a
animations,
Disney animator, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't have the internet community back then, so they could just fucking take animation from the movie and just kind of scribble around it and throw it in there. I think it's a common practice too, isn't it, in the industry, like taking like the same base animation.
100%.
There was that thing I saw on Reddit with like the, it was like the scene in Jungle Book, and I forgot they put it in another movie too, where it's like the dancing guy. I think it was Robin Hood and Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this movie was an interesting choice for a kids movie. It almost feels like someone had a script for like a separate adult movie where like a lovable sleazy guy gets killed, gets a second chance, comes back, and gets redeemed. And I feel like that's a common plot with other other IP. And it feels like it's reskinned for dogs. They left in a lot of adult concepts, things like life in prison on death row, things like murdering each other and having like a crime syndicate.
They don't
feel like you're not going to put that in there.
He doesn't give a shit. We're talking the person that made The Secret of Nim. That movie is scary as fuck all, and it's a kids movie. Like
I don't remember that movie.
Yeah. So Land
Actually-
Before Time opens with like the massacre of millions of dinosaurs,
Really?
doesn't it?
I haven't seen it since I was like
The
5.
Great Migration, right? Like there's a whole huge volcano eruption and stuff.
Oh Jesus. Okay. So this is a lot of dark themes. There was some scary portions, like things that kind of made me kind of shiver. Like that scene where Charlie leaves heaven and she's like, "You can never come back." And it kind of like echoes through the watch
multiple
she's looking at.
times.
And I was like, fuck, this is creepy as hell. And then, of course, the dog hell scene. And if I was a child and I was in a Christian family, I would be scared fucking shitless about going to hell if I saw that scene.
Even at the end of the movie with the dog devil like overlooking the whole city, that was cool.
Yeah, that was
He's
what
like,
it meant when I was.
"Charlie."
Yeah.
So it's implied that
Waiting for you with sick guitar riffs.
Iron Maiden's down here. The first 3 albums.
They're actually pretty cool guys.
Really cool, guys. Great concerts, great shows. You got to come by.
We don't do that much torture. Torture's kind of, we're kind of over torture.
I'm over it.
We'd have
Hillary's here, though.
I'm all tortured out. My wrist hurts. I don't know.
You can gamble and drink. You love
I play the drums. I don't know if you want to hear it, but I've got a new single coming out.
Yeah, I'll show you later.
You're gonna have to hear it though. There's a little bit of torture.
Come on, I gotta
It's not going on for long enough. We need to make this bit longer.
You guys see Tenacious D? Love Dave Grohl's depiction of me. Love Dave Grohl.
That guy's not here though. That guy's up there. Upstairs.
Yeah, he's up there. Really hoping he pulls through. I can get him down here. You guys listen to that new
I'm
Foo
gonna
Fighters?
trade him. I'm thinking about trading him somebody.
Oh, to the draft. Is he gonna trade Dave Grohl?
On draft night.
for
Oh
Christmas?
wow, we got a
Okay.
blockbuster draft night trade. It looks like what's this? Looks like the Devil is trading in his 3rd pick. Wow, they're trading up in the draft. They're trading a 2023 second round pick and this year's 3rd pick for this year's 1st pick. And what looks like the Devil's picking Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters. This has been a long time coming, Tom.
That guy's been on the border between metal and rock for too long.
Looks like Chris Martin is going to hell now. Shame, he had a lot of promise. We sing
Wow.
Viva La Vida to them. It's wild that like we talked a lot about a lot of different crazy concepts in this movie, but like we said before, it gets distracted really easily. Like there's a portion where Charlie's trying to show the little girl that like he's a good person, and he goes out to the doggy orphanage, I guess, and I feel like it's implied those are his kids. I don't know. Did you guys pick up on that? And like he brings
were his
pizza for
kids.
them. It's like, yeah, the mom of those kids is like, oh, he came back. I don't see him much nowadays. And they're like, yay, he's here. And like, and they call him Uncle Charlie, and I feel like those are his kids, man. They don't look that different. And like He brings pizza for them, and he sings a song about how sharing is good. And this sequence is like 15 minutes, man. And I was like, is this a movie about dog mobsters? Like, why are we singing about pizza for so long?
Because they finished the movie and they were like,
about a different movie.
fuck.
You don't even remember that part.
I don't remember what you guys are talking about.
Maybe that's the issue. There's a lot of shit that's... I may not even remember that if I didn't write a note that literally says, Jesus Christ, how long is this pizza scene?
I have a question. A burning question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
First off, statistically, well, not statistically, this is the way it goes. This is our oldest movie.
Really?
Oh, is it?
GBGB set. Think about it
89.
this way. Ben Affleck and Matthew McConaughey were not making movies in the 80s.
Yeah?
We weren't even born yet.
Well,
They weren't born until Dazed and Confused.
I think this movie also sets another record. Most number of dogs.
Ooh.
True.
Well, Air Bud actually really did not have that many dogs. One dog.
True.
One dog.
Yeah.
They blew their entire dog budget on one dog.
Mm-hmm.
Well spent.
It was the best dog. Like, it's the greatest dog actor athlete. of all time.
Clifford had a lot of animals
And like 6 dogs.
and not that many dogs.
Yeah.
Snow Dogs had a decent number of dogs, especially
32
if you
maybe?
consider the other dog teams. But really, they did not show many
No
dog
fucking
teams.
screen time. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, this was dogs front to back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think we have a new dog champion.
No, I would argue that, yes, I think we have the most dog-centric movie for sure.
Mhm.
I just can't get over like the quality of Air Bud still. And we can get into the woof-o-meter in a bit, but like, just the guy's fucking incredible, man. Like, I haven't seen a movie that kind of matches up because he's a real goddamn dog. Like, I wish they would make a Space Jam with like an aged Air Bud. Fortunately, recast him like one of the his offspring. Like, I guess is what they're doing nowadays. And then just do like a Space Jam, where like all of the dog Looney Tune characters need him to play basketball and save the day.
The tough
They already
find.
did it with
So like Space Jam 3, Air
Space
Bud
Jam
Strikes
3.
Back. Yeah.
Dog Jam.
When we
Your dog.
talk about
know.
kids growing up playing basketball and having dreams of getting into the NBA, it's the 1% of every kid goes on to play college basketball, that goes on to play the NBA. The numbers are way harder for dogs because the dog NBA is like way more selective. So it's like
Literally only one dog.
0.05.
NBA.
Yeah. Oh. So not only do all these dogs have to be trained, but then they're not going to be cut out for it. It's just really hard to find. Air Bud was
Wait,
one in a quadrillion.
Is Air Bud the only dog to play basketball and thus the only one to qualify? Because if we took the same type of effort, train every dog to play basketball, I think we'd get a lot more Air Buds. This is like, you took one guy, showed him to play basketball, and then made him the basketball guy, right? You're ignoring some of these potential greats.
Well, sort of. You don't need 5 dogs to make a basketball team. How many? What's the human to dog ratio on these Air Bud teams?
How many Air Buds can a human take on?
No.
Only one
let's
Air Bud.
actually say we have a dog basketball league.
Okay,
Is it
yeah.
all dogs?
The NBA.
Or is it 3 humans and 2 dogs?
Okay, let's talk about dog BA for simplicity, but I do think it would be great to have like 3 dogs and like 4 humans on like the Spurs or something.
Well, I think that if you make dogs eligible for the NBA, I don't think that Air Bud would be able to beat the worst NBA player.
Interesting.
Would we have to pee test the dogs to make sure they weren't animorphs
Absolutely.
and thus had a higher understanding of the rules?
Does it show up in the piss? I feel like Yerks could then just piss test a bunch of people to figure out where the Animorphs are.
Denali, you know way more about animorph lore than I
You know too
do.
much about
It's
Animorph
been
lore.
established. This has been established.
I know, but
Okay, I will say I'd be a season ticket holder to the DNBA. I would just love to see some dogs doing some
All
dunks.
dogs. But it's okay. Are you saying all dogs?
All dogs. So this is all dogs league. Coaches are dogs. Managers are dogs. Players are dogs.
The refs are dogs.
They have little buttons instead of whistles because they can't blow.
The audience is also dog.
Yeah, no humans allowed. No humans ever laid eyes on it.
The people running the cameras are also dogs, and the scorekeepers are dogs.
There's 70,000 dogs in Madison Square Garden.
And
Who knows
what's the
what's
breaking
happening?
news? They're all attacking each other.
There's one human with a hot dog stand in there. May God have mercy on his soul.
This puts Malice in the Palace to shame.
Who signed off on this? There will be questions for the mayor tonight. Absolute
Mayor
tragedy.
is also a
Oh,
dog.
dog.
I am a dog. How much airtime has Airbud taken from the rest of our episodes? I feel like we're not done with it.
Good portion.
We should have done an Airbud season, you guys. Like,
We should have. There's still. We can
it's not too late.
We
can pitch it. We can pitch it for the next season. As for my 2 picks for the State of the Podcast, I'll just do both Airbud seasons to kind of increase those chances. So I'll at least have 2 minimum votes. If you guys want to do the same thing to ensure their Airbud season, you guys may. Okay, guys, do we want to get into our woof meters and talk about? We already kind of talked about the dog parts of this movie.
Yeah.
I don't have much more to say about this movie. Like,
Give me that woof meter number. Actually, wait. Jace is the new. He's the new beginner for this season. I keep forgetting. Right, I'm so used to prompting you. Jace, what's that woof meter?
Ooh. I did the have to watch in the morning thing.
Oh, okay. You need time? I can give it to Ryan while you think.
I'm not sure I need time. Time won't tell in this case. I was very enticed by the dogs doing like the dirty human things, gambling, drinking, eating. And then God, just skip me for now. I have no idea what my bearing is. I can't even feasibly put a number to this because this could have easily just been a regular old human. There were very few dog-centric things that the dogs were doing, I think, besides like they had some T-bones, I might have to just go middle of the pack.
Middle of the pack. Yeah.
And might have to give the dogs a 5 in this one.
Okay.
Ooh.
5.
It's so obtuse.
Right.
It's obviously they are all dogs.
Yes, that's been established.
It has been very clearly established in the name of the movie and watching it. But
they're not very dog-like, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And I would hate this movie if it was the same premise was applied and it was humans, because nobody wants to see a guy who runs a casino have a kid in a basement. Oh man, come back to me, but I think I have to give this movie a 5
Oh, I mean, I think we got a rating there.
on the wolf meter.
Got a 5?
It's so hot, Jace can't think.
It's so hot I
Yeah.
can't think, and this movie was legitimately, like we said in our text chat, a fever dream.
Yeah.
It's just,
Oh, that's
I feel like I was falling through a dimension and all of the images of this movie were whipping past my head, and I was only having this dream because we're focused on dogs.
we're Charlie going to hell. Like,
Yes.
So, because drugs are illegal in my state, would this be a good movie on drugs or a bad movie?
oh, to keep them away from, like, to discourage you from doing them?
No, I'm saying like
Watch this movie
is
on
this a good movie
drugs.
high or is this a bad movie high?
Terrifying.
I think it's
Gruesome.
bad trip city, this whole movie. Yeah, bad vibes. You have to have a sober mind to digest this, otherwise the imagery is going to be challenging. A good question though, Ryan. I thought about this when I was watching it. I was like, did someone maybe ate an edible before this, watch this without having a panic attack?
5 too, because I think Charlie B. Barkin was a piece of shit. They painted him in a good light, like he was a hero at the end, but he just fucking saved himself so he could go to heaven. Fucker.
It's so strong about Charlie B. Barkin. You heard it here first. Jace has beef.
Itchy
With
is the
Charlie.
man. Itchy gets a 10 though. Itchy's a
Itchy's
real homie.
Ride or die. Yeah.
If I'd have to give separate dog meters to each dog in this movie.
Itchy
Man,
put it all on the line for his
When
buddy.
Itchy came back with the bruises,
Oh,
That
oh
is
my
deep.
god. There's a dog that literally receives a gang beating for his friend. And he comes back and he's like, "What, do you care about me?" oh, did you see what you put me through? It's like, whoa, we got real.
Yeah.
He's like, I told you we should have skipped town.
Yeah, it's some casino shit. Like,
Pretty good scene. Okay, I'll give my woof-o-meter. And yeah, this is a fucking hard movie because it's animated. Yes, there's dogs starring, so I have to fall back on some objective metrics. So, for one, volume of dogs. We've always used that metric in our other meters. Fucking high, man. This is going to be an easy,
I've got kind of an objection. You've stated multiple times to our series that you do not use volume as a meter metric, especially including Matthew McConaughey and Dazed and Confused.
Listen, when
meter guy. I'm the volume guy. I'm the volume guy.
I'm sorry. I was just fucking with you.
When I get a strong inkling of what I want the score to be, I'm fine with throwing the objective metrics out the window. But this time,
that's fair.
I am gripping the fucking
I agree with that.
Machine, because I am so lost. So I'm gonna give it some points for volume. As far as like dogginess though, it's gonna be a little low because this is a movie where the dogs are doing a lot of human shit. This could have easily been a human mobster movie directed by Martin Scorsese, just with a couple simple edits. Maybe you would have a girl who speaks to fucking animals, but I don't know. You could switch that around. Maybe some person who's really good at calculating horse races or some shit. Fuck, man.
It's really good at calculating odds.
Yeah, this is the hardest metric I think we've ever come up with how doggy this movie is. I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it 3. The 3.
Wow.
On the dog meter.
I can't believe you two.
Okay.
You haven't seriously thought through the logical complications of your woof-o-meter scores?
Okay, let me just explain.
Not today.
Then you can
just
give your
explain your
objection.
3.
I want to give an explanation, because they did have dogs. They weren't very dog-like. Could have been humans. Had a lot of barking.
Okay.
Please proceed, Riot.
Let's rewind the tape a little bit.
Mhm.
Snow Dogs. Pretty bad movie. I think it got pretty low on the woof-o-meters from us.
I gave it an 8. You guys shit on it.
Well, then there'll be a little bit internal consistency here. Dogs doing dog stuff. I didn't like the movie. Okay, rewind a little bit more. We go back to Clifford. Dogs not really doing dog stuff, right? They're doing circus and stuff.
Yeah.
We go back further. Air Bud, kind of doing dog stuff, but he's literally the only dog that does it.
He is a dog, though. Like
but he's the only dog that does it.
You couldn't replace Air Bud with a human. It would have just been Bud, man. It would have
That's
been
Space Jam.
Okay.
So in this movie, I like the fact that it was dogs doing human stuff. Like, that's the whole point. If it was just dogs doing dog stuff, it would just be videos of dogs sleeping on the ground. So I think at some point I have to detach myself from how much do I want to see dogs being dogs? And the answer is little to none. I want dog jokes. I want some dog puns, but I don't really want dogs just hanging out, licking butts. I'm gonna give this an enormous 10 on the dog meter.
Whoa!
Wow. Okay.
You tell me another
Zoinkers.
movie that's more dog than this. What's another dog? Oh, 101 Dalmatians. That's about the humans that own the dogs also. So that goes down a little bit. What other dog movies are solely about dogs? This is it. This is the pinnacle of dog movies from that perspective. From dog volume. We had a huge doggy volume. There's 1,000 dogs in this movie, and it's all about dogs. There's one scene about humans. I don't think that it was a bad movie. It was good. The dogs were fine. They were doing dog shit. From when they were I don't know. It's not like they were walking on 2 legs everywhere. They were dogs. So it's there's a lot of dogs. I don't understand how this could be a low score. I'm going with 10.
Okay. You know what, Ryan? I think you opened my mind up a little bit.
You don't get to change your score. You don't get to change your score.
I can't change it. Jace changed his score before. And
you put me last. We did 2 seasons where I go first and I make my points and you ride my high. Okay? You make me analyze these fucking movies for 20 weeks straight, and then you're like, yeah, what this guy said, I'm going to give it the same score. I'm not letting you do that.
Oh, you're fine with me keeping it a 3.
I don't care. It's a freaking dog movie. I don't give a shit.
I mean, I was ready to change it because I thought you made some good points. Is hearing that, because there were a lot of dog jokes, and they did build they did do some dog world building. I think you're right. Like, maybe I don't want to watch a movie just with the dog in it doing nothing. Maybe this had a lot of dog stuff. Maybe my unofficial score would be an 8 after listening to your arguments. You know, you did the 12 Angry Men thing, and I'm one of the jurors in the room, and maybe I got convinced by your impassioned speech about dog stuff. But you know, even though on paper I said 3, but I'll let it be known my heart's at an 8 now.
You can change it if you would like, but just know that I'm not like just being, take my ideas anymore. I'm just fighting back.
Aren't you trying to convince us? Are you gonna? If you're
arguing, I'm just giving my position. If my position so happens to be logically supported and convincing, then so be it. But that's usually how I arrived to that position in the first place.
You're arguing a not guilty verdict in court, and the juror does not guilty. Are you gonna be like, "Oh, you guys are a bunch of fucking copyists"? I said not guilty. You're all saying not guilty. Look at this. Bunch of fucking wankers. All right, let's get into
every court case Ryan has ever worked on.
Jesus Christ! Everybody's fucking copying my verdict. Can't get a break here, Judge. Guess what you think about this movie?
About the movie itself?
For a score tile,
score
time.
Score time.
Yeah, visually stunning. A lot of good animal puns. You're right in that they jumped from a lot of scene to scene. There isn't like an overarching plot that drives it forward, but you're just kind of living, I feel like, in each moment with the loose guidance of he's gonna help her find a family and maybe kill another dog.
Mm.
But I really liked a lot of the scenes, jokes when they stole from the family, and then the horse was like, "Oh, the dumb horse is gonna win today because it's his birthday." It just kind of sets up that in the world that these animals are compassionate and they're smart and they're interacting separate to human society, which is a bit different than, well, it's kind of like what we've seen with Clifford and other dog movies, but and then at the same time, I think I've forgotten most of it a few hours after watching. So a little bit more 6. It's a good 6 for me because I found some enjoyment out of it, and then it's fleeting. It didn't seem like it chose well enough to be a children's movie, which I could give it merits for, or choosing to be an adult movie, which I would like it to see done one way or the other. Like, I want to hear a dog say "fuck." That fucking dog! He fucking opened that casino. I'm gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah, Jace, I think you brought up a lot of good points. My issues with this movie were a lot of the same because a lot of it was so unfocused, and I think there was just a amalgamation of scenes that were very unmemorable for this movie. The other thing was, Charlie was a big asshole. He wasn't very redeemable in this movie. At every turn, he seemed like he was manipulating his friends, manipulating the little girl in the movie. I just could not connect with him. And it just seemed like at the very, 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 very end, he decides to save the girl over saving himself. And even then, I felt like he knew what was going to happen or something, because you know what's going to happen. He fucking saves the girl and then he gets into heaven and then ta-da. So I felt like he was difficult to connect with. There was some really cool world building in this movie. I loved like the rat race stuff. I loved seeing all the mob scenes and seeing how like the dogs interact with the human world. Seeing all the scenes with the different animals, showing how smart they are. I think it was fun. And if I was a little kid, I think I'd like those parts. Animation was a pleasant surprise. Just beautiful colors. I like that, I guess, 1980s imagery. I don't know what the word is, like from those other movies you mentioned. The animation just really gives me a sense of nostalgia. I don't think you see stuff like that again, nowadays. I like that aspect. Music was just okay. The plot was just okay. I think Burt Reynolds had fun, but it was just fine. So I'm gonna give this a 6, a little above average. We're approaching the number of the beast. We'll see what Ryan says. But yeah, not bad movie. Not the worst. So yeah, 6. I'm fine with that.
Boys, we got the number of the beast, baby. Yeah, 6. It's like the perfect 6 movie, right? Like they never really dialed it in. They never got their topics totally figured out. The script was kind of all over the place, but the jokes were good. The characters, I think, yeah, they were crappy characters. That's the whole point. Is that like, if this guy's going to heaven, nobody else is, you know, like. So that's kind of the idea. I liked it. Itchy was such a good character. Itchy is like the Joe Pesci of dogs.
Was he?
It's like,
I don't think he was. He's like, I'm gonna break your fucking kneecaps, asshole.
well, yeah, that's in this, in the Scorsese movies, yeah. But like, he's
like
he's kind of the sidekick, but he's still like, sleazy.
Right.
I think it was good. 6. There's nothing really I can say about it except it's a weird fever dream.
Yeah.
It's short, by the way. Very short. I think our second shortest movie.
I was so psyched to see that because, dude, Snow Dogs was an hour 45, man. You know how fucking punishing that was? Yeah.
It was only like 6 minutes longer than Clifford.
Clifford was a tight, beautifully directed movie. No dead scenes.
I think that could have used more, a little bit more doggy puns. Like maybe I spaced out and I didn't see them, and there were a good few, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
I did love the girl in the 3-person tall small person. Yeah, the trench coat. Yeah. Always a great joke.
Classic scene.
I think we knocked it out of the park, you guys. We covered every base.
Yeah,
I think we did. Okay, so let's now that we have reviewed this movie, All Dogs Go to Heaven, let us embark.
Oh fuck, I forgot we have to do this portion of it. No.
Yes, embark. Woof woof. On our next portion, I think we thoroughly digest this movie. Let's pick out our next movie. Guys, let us know what you think about All Dogs Go to Heaven if you watched this growing up. I'm curious to hear what like people who, I don't know if you guys saw this when you were growing up. I didn't.
Yeah, I did, but I didn't remember any of it. I thought it was like a fun thing where he walks around with a halo, but I was way wrong.
I saw the second movie. Yeah. I realized that I did not see this first movie.
Does he fucking die again? What happens?
So the premise is kind of set up in the end, I believe, when the dog that is somehow in heaven after murdering untold other dogs grabs his own watch.
Oh, and it's about Carface? That he's the central character?
No, I think he escapes. I haven't watched the trailer. He either like escapes or he messes something up, and then they have to go back to Earth.
How different would this movie be if Charlie actually directly kills Carface instead of doing that Batman thing where he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to directly kill him, but he's going to die, and I'm not going to save him." Because Carface gets eaten by the alligator, who's Charlie's friend.
Yeah,
like this movie would be different if Charlie like ran him over with a car or shot him with a gun, and then he's like, "He's going to go to heaven now." Like, I don't know.
What? Yeah, that kind of.
Charlie got
that kind of changes things if he came back and he told every other dog that every dog goes to heaven.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is like he's in heaven and she's like, you barely made it in, but you're a dog. Why would he then be like, I'm gonna leave?
Yeah. Well, he's got a score to settle.
He's
got a murder to commit.
Like you put me at those gates, and God is like, look, I know you didn't believe in me, but I'm just all loving, and you made it anyways. I'm not flipping the bird at God, like. Okay, back to the wheel.
Okay, do we the
Are
wheel
we doing the
rules?
ads?
Let's do the ads, man. The ads and deletes.
Can I go first?
Look who wants to go first this time.
I feel a little guilty about adding the thing last time because I was on the binge for a good movie. I wanted to get your guys' temperature on that. I don't think it's a dog movie.
I was thinking about this over the week.
Telling you that for 3 weeks.
I wanted to see it because we need a good movie, but now we have some actual good movies on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually veto myself, and I'm going to take the thing off. Every week we add a movie and take away a movie if we so choose from the wheel, but it's a little bit more fair. And I'm going to add 101 Dalmatians.
Oh, nice.
The old one.
The cartoon.
From 1960, whatever. 1961.
Don't we get 2 ads, 1 veto, or 1 ad,
no,
1 veto?
1 and 1.
1 and 1.
Okay, we're changing it.
No.
No, it was 1-1.
Oh, right. Okay. Jace, what's yours? I guess.
You should go.
Okay.
'cause-
Can I ask you if this adds? I'll ask you guys and gauge your. You think this is fair?
It's your ad,
Goofy
bro.
movie. You guys think that's a dog movie? Stars. Two
He
dogs.
is a dog.
I don't think that.
Fuck.
You think that doesn't qualify? I like that movie
No,
rules.
didn't at some point in this episode, I said
Okay.
he's not walking around on two dogs or two dogs. I said he's not walking around on two legs. They're actual dogs.
I don't know, man. Yeah, you're right. I won't add Goofy. Okay, my next border one was Wallace and Gromit. Doesn't count. Has a
That's a
dog.
dog movie. Yeah.
I haven't
Do it.
watched Wallace and Gromit, so I'm not aware of whether or not that actually is a dog movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add. My ad's gonna be the Scooby-Doo live action movie from 2000.
Oh, terrific.
Your ad is Scooby-Doo
Yeah, the live action version.
1. There are 2 live
Yes.
actions.
That's the first live action movie.
I'm writing.
Yes.
I wrote Scooby-Doo 1. I don't know why I did that. That was the movie I was gonna add, so it looks like I have to add
Oh,
the
really?
second movie.
Yes. It's Freddie Prinze Jr., Linda Cardellini, and the guy from that guy's great. Okay, what's
And
your?
Buffy. Sarah Michelle
that-
Gellar.
Oh shit! I didn't even realize that was her.
I honestly just want to X-nay Hachi off of here because I don't want to watch a sad movie.
Okay. That's fair.
And I really like all of these, so I'm going to continue with my one removal, no ads, like I did last week.
Oh, can I remove something?
Yes, sorry,
The Art of Racing in the Rain.
you fucker.
Taking a good movie off, I think.
Right, I think we've got actually like a pretty funny spread here.
It's gonna be Airbud Spikes back.
Dude,
Oh,
I'd actually unironically be psyched to watch Airbud 2.
Julie said it has to be a good movie or she's not watching it.
I have shuffled. We have 101 Dalmatians, Homeward Bound, Old Yeller, Airbud Spikes Back, Scooby-Doo 1,
Yes.
Cujo, please,
Yes.
I Love Dogs, Turner and Hooch, and Cats and Dogs.
Yeah. All right, a lot of good choices here, baby. I think I'm psyched about any of these. Oh man.
Not Airbud, please. Just not
I'm
Airbud.
praying
When it
to dog
spins-
heaven.
Let's say what it is when it spins for our
Okay.
listeners because they can't see the wheels.
They can hear it though because it's really loud and obnoxious. Woo!
Scooby-Doo, baby.
We are watching the live-action Scooby-Doo movie.
That was me and
Wow.
Jace's pick.
Also, a millimeter away from Airbud Spikes Back.
Okay.
Oh,
It has a
man.
22% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 5.1 IMDb rating. Oh no, that's
Wow.
Scooby-Doo. That's Scooby-Doo too.
Look how close that is.
Pretty close. The Airbud Spikes Back.
That's-
It's saving it for our next season, which is an all Airbud season.
How about an all volleyball movie season?
That would be hilarious. I don't know how many volleyball. Does Top Gun count?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Stupid question. Okay. Well, I think we've got our next movie, Scooby-Doo, from 2003. What year was that?
Just about.
2000 released June 8th, 2002, and made $275,000 in the box office.
Thousand or
Or million, 270.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
one town in America
We
went
can
to see
do-
this movie.
We could do better than that.
200.
Was this only aired in Alaska?
We're the only ones who are aware of this movie.
Wait, this isn't a huge movie. Other places,
Like Snow Dogs.
yeah. Well, I'm psyched about this. Scooby-Doo actually, like, in my head, it didn't come out that long ago, but it's wild to think that it was like 19 years ago it came out.
Yes.
Like, people who were born that year are in college, like, not even freshmen. Like, Um, I think this is also good because I feel like this is our biggest like budget movie I think that we've done so far in the dog season, the most popular. Because Air Bud obviously is a classic banger, of course. Clifford is, I don't think Clifford Snow
I don't think
Dog.
that's gonna be like the weirdest episode ever. It's gonna be the lost episode of the dog season, I think.
But everybody does know who Clifford is.
Everybody does know Clifford.
It is a weird movie to pick just because of
And they're like,
the topic,
oh,
but
320-something guys are reviewing a children's Clifford
Right.
movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Scooby-Doo is going to be a great choice. We can't do a dog season without looking at the most famous fucking detective dog of all time.
Yeah.
Someone who's like a dog. What's that called? Not a vandalist. What's the thing that Batman is?
Vigilante?
Vigilante. A dog vigilante. Extrajudicial justice by Scooby-Doo.
I'm so hot.
Thanks, folks, for tuning in to All Dogs Go to Heaven, or Do They? The 1989 animated flick that we're not quite sure actually happened.
Could Scooby-Doo be in the Deli Dudes?
Oh, that's interesting. Like a talking dog.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck my outro then.
That'd be a challenging IP because Warner Brothers would have to buy Deli Dudes, and then they'd have to have a crossover.
Well, we can license.
This is fitting because our Deli Dudes pitch happened when we were taking Ryan hostage. Yeah, thanks for listening. Follow us on at GBGB Podcast on Twitter, at Good Boys Godland on Instagram. Throw us a review, throw us a follow, subscribe, anything you can on all the mediums. It helps us podcasters out. Join us next week with Ruby Roo.
Wait, wrong one.
No. Thanks for doing something worse than mine. That really saved me back there. Join us next week.